So hi guys, how are you all doing today? Welcome back to this amazing channel. How are you guys doing? I hope I imagine everyone is preparing so well for the summer. So yeah, it's good to see you all once again. Right, so today we're going to be talking about mental health. Now, this is something I don't think I've ever spoken about it on my channel before. And what prompted this video is yesterday I read a publication about Naomi Osaka, who was fined and vilified by the organizers of the French Open because she said that she was not going to be involved in the French Open due to the fact that she had anxiety issues. And if you don't know, anxiety issues are a form of mental health issues that people, could deal with. There are different forms of mental health issues. Some of them lead from one to the other. And she says she suffers from anxiety. So first of all, if you don't know who Naomi Osaka is, just a very, very, very quick recap. Naomi Osaka is a 4-time Grand Slam champion. And she has one of the things and one of the most defining moments of her career was when she played with Serena Williams and she won. And I think that was just before COVID. I hope my eyelashes are not trying to be funny. And that was just before COVID, I think. So basically, why I'm actually bringing out this video is because I'm not happy about this. I'm so upset. According to the story by The Guardian, I will put the links of everything that I'm going to be talking about here in the links in the description box. She spoke about the fact that she felt that she cited that because she felt that her attempts to preserve her mental well-being were a distraction to her peers, and she wouldn't conduct her press obligations during the tournaments. Now, we are in a situation right now, because for me, this beats me. We are in a situation right now that in the world that we're living in today, we just came out of 1 year of COVID restrictions. Basically, we were all stuck in our homes. Those who were alone. Those who were married, some eventually got divorced, or some are trying to work on their union. Kids suffered. Mental health issues were on the increase during this period. Okay, that's 1. 2, that's not to say because she said she has been suffering anxiety issues, and due to this, she has decided not to give press. She's not going to honor her press obligations. Why are there even obligations in the first place? My first question. So I'm trying to understand what I just want to understand is why do the organizers of the French Open, why do the organizers of the tournament feel that she should be punished? Because I see it as punishment. She's being punished and threatened because she wants to take care of her mental health. When I saw this news yesterday, I mean, for crying out loud, I don't know Naomi Osaka. She doesn't know who I am. But then when I saw this news yesterday, the first thing that came to my mind was, oh my God, honey, take care of yourself. And when I saw what the organizers of the French Open said that she was going to be fined, and I'm asking, where on God's earth, because yes, he created the world. So where on God's earth do these people get the right to threaten, I call this a threat, to threaten Naomi Osaka and being banned from playing in tournaments. Where did they get that right? At the end of the day, I mean, quoting Venus Williams, these people I could never play the game as well as she can. So where do they, and they will never, so where do they get, what gives them the impetus? That's my grouse. What gives them the impetus to decide that her mental health is not important enough to be considered in this? Now, I just want to read some of the things. Like I said, I'm going to put the description in the description box below. And I'm going to read some of the things that, the organizers came up with. And they said that Naomi said that she wouldn't conduct her press obligations during the tournament. And then she was fired. She was fined again. So again, she does not want to have to do her press statements. In my opinion, that is someone's freedom and rights. I don't want to talk to the press. I shouldn't be obliged to talk to the press. Okay? And now, not only that, she cited mental health issues that permit her that and says, no, I'm not comfortable being with this kind of people. Okay? And like it or not, I think journalists right now, okay, we are in a situation whereby everyone is trying to give journalists and journalism freedom. But I'm sorry, if the racist attacks continue, then you on your own are stifling and removing your freedom from yourselves. There is always one journalist being kidnapped or something somewhere, due to the fact that you claim to have freedom of press. That is agreed. But freedom of press does not permit you to bully someone. Freedom of press does not permit you to be racist. Freedom of press does not permit you to think and assume you can write anything that comes from your bowels about somebody without getting your facts straight. Journalism requires that you get your facts correct. Okay? So now here again, and then she was fined to the tune of $15,000 because she was not going to have conduct press obligations. Now, she also said that, again, the lack of empathy. Okay? I am someone, and listen, I'm not just saying this because it's just Naomi Osaka, okay? I also have suffered, and I suffer from mental health issues. Yes. And I have been in a situation where, okay, it took me and the help of, professionals to be able to be here today. And again, if you recall my last video I just put up the other day, I talked about taking care of my mental space. And that's also one of the reasons that after a while, I disappear from social media, because it takes a toll. Okay? So this hits close to home, where someone who says she struggles with anxiety, and then there is a lack of empathy. Again, let's go back to Harry's video and Harry and Meghan, where there was the same issue of seeking for mental health, for help when she was going through all these issues, and it was denied. That is a lack of empathy. That is what someone would do when you look away from someone who needs help. Now, my question is, the organizers of the French Open, rather than you preferring help towards Naomi, okay, you talk about fining her and banning her, and for God's sake, listen, okay, you ban her, then ban every other person. Now I get a very clear picture of Serena Williams' struggles. And she powered through like the strong woman that she is. And again, because I've had a talk about this before, about, Serena Williams, does she continue? Listen, for me, she can go on as long as she wants, because the message Now I understand the depth of the message she's given. It's not just about being strong. It's not just about telling yourself you can do it. Her message is also about your mental health, about being able to, to make the naysayers understand that, listen, they are just words. They fly over. So now I understand Serena's combat so well. It's not just in the physical. Her combat is also here. And it's not just for her, but it's for all the young girls out there who want to grow and who want to become the next Serena Williams, who want to be the next champions in the tennis tournaments. Now, my question again, we live so much. Are we now in a world where money is more important than the well-being of fellow human beings? How could this girl speak her truth and say, I can't do this? But rather than preferring a solution, rather than showing your empathy, rather than showing that you understand, rather than saying, okay, why don't you do this? Take the time you need to take care of yourself. You all went on discussing and fining and threatening. I'm sorry, I cannot use that word. It says, I quote, Grand Slam tournaments then decided to put out a statement by warning repeatedly to Naomi that skipping press conferences, she could be defaulted or even risk suspension from future Grand Slam tournaments. Come on. Come the hell on. Really? Now, pressuring her, Naomi is now saying that she is in a situation whereby she's feeling pressured and forcing her to choose between defiance and the possibility of unprecedented punishments or the deep discomfort of facing the media. Again, she cited the media as being uncomfortable because, again, she is thinking about her mental health. In the world of sports, aside from football and probably rugby, I don't know, probably basketball as well, or basically there are sports that require large crowds. But in particular sports, there is a level of concentration and quietness that is required and needed, and a level of, what's that word again? Meditation. And tennis is one of them, just like golf. So much so that when your mind is off, when you are off mentally, everything is off. We've had so many examples of incidents like this have happened on the court. If we want to use, even Serena Williams as an example, where the judges have become or tried to be the thorn in her flesh and, making her, because your emotions, being able to, handle your emotions, is a plus in this profession. And then she is talking about that, but they are not listening. They are more interested in the money that they need to make. Because like it or not, Naomi Osaka's name is money. It is not, listen, Naomi Osaka does not come for the French Opens, okay? That's going to be the drop in viewership. We all know that. The same way when Serena Williams is not there, or her sister Venus, the same thing, the drop. So because they know. So this is not about Naomi. This is about the money. They want the money. And for example, and for sure, that the fact that she's there is the money. The fact that she's in the French Open is the money. They know that a lot of people are going to be tuning into their TVs to watch Naomi Osaka. It is the money. It is not about her. They don't care about Naomi Osaka. They don't care if Naomi Osaka is suicidal. They don't care if she's got anxiety. They don't care about any of those things. They don't care about her mental health. All they care about is the money. Her name is the money. Shame on you. So shame, shame, shame on you. Now, like I said, I'm going to put all the links. But again, I want to take us back to a similar incident that happened in France. Initially when I started this video, or when I started this story, and I was doing my little research on the story, it hits, it gave me a feeling of deja vu, because in France, and again, coincidentally, this is happening in France. In France, in 2014, France Telecom had changed, the CEO. Now, the change in the CEO was brought about the fact that, because when you the name of the company is France Telecom, and the network, or the network that they run, is called Orange. Now, when that happened, what caused the whole shift was in the fact that the government, the state, happened to be the biggest stakeholder in France Telecoms, which automatically, makes France Telecoms the cheapest, service. It was supposed to be the cheapest service that you could, be subscribed to. Well, I was subscribed to France Telecoms for 2 years or 3 years, and there was nothing cheap about them. In fact, I spent more money than I ever thought I would ever spend in my life. So I don't know where that came from. And so, since there had been this withdrawal of the state's stake, in the company, that's required that the company again needed to prioritize. It had become private. Now it's no longer a government entity, so that called for profit making, creating more profits, and to pay off debts, and stuff like that. Now, for them, it was a dilemma. So what happened was that they got a new CEO by the name of Didier Lombard. Is it Lombardi or Lombard? I can't remember. So one of them, and he was the CEO at this time. And this guy came with if you go on Wikipedia, you can find the story. I'm going to put the links in here, don't worry, so that you can read more. And this guy came in with an operation he called the Next Plan. Next Plan. Now, basically, this Next Plan was this was a company that employed 140,000, because I have it all noted here. A company that had an employee rate of 140,000 people, 110,000, I'm not sure. And then they were going to get rid of 22,000 positions. They weren't going to be, sacked, nothing. The plan was eliminate 22,000 positions. So basically, the guy's grand plan was to degrade working conditions, to cause psychological trauma, and put the employees in so much stress that they would voluntarily quit. And that was his game plan. That was the most next level plan this guy could come up with, Didier Lombard. And then they got to train 4,000 people in 10 days. The story is gory. The suicide stories are gory. I'll tell you just one. Please beware. This lady killed herself while they were having a meeting. I don't want to say how she did it, because this is on YouTube, and I'm just trying to be very, very careful about the kind of information I'm giving out there. But I said I'm going to put the link so you can click on the link and go check out the story. It was gory. It was gory. I am trying to imagine in my brain, in my head, I'm trying to imagine how frustrated, how psychologically drained, how suicidal they had gone to do what they did. Again, I don't want to give any other example, please. And then in 2019, when the case started, the first thing the directors and CEOs said was that they take no responsibility for anything that happened to their workers. Yeah, that's how irresponsible their type of CEOing is. I mean, it's like me being a mom of a child, and the child does something that is basically, listen, the child is under my watch. Okay, it's not like the child is under my watch, and then the child probably goes and touches fire, and then gets burned. And this child is under my watch. I wonder who is supposed to take responsibility for it. Is the child is supposed to take responsibility for it, or the mom, or the father? Yeah, that is exactly what the CEO was telling us, that he's not responsible. And again, I want to also go back to this, that this is a very, very common trait in France, that where you work, I've been a victim. I would not lie to you. I know that's another story for another day. I've been a victim of this, and I'll tell you guys how I was able to overcome it, but then it came back to bite me in the ass. So, at the end of the day, you find out that this is a very common trait. I've been in a situation whereby my child was hurt at school, and the first thing the teacher said, I was called urgently to come and pick up my child from school and take him to the hospital. Okay. So, what happened was the teacher called me and said, please, you should come. He fell. And I'm like, okay, I'll be on my way. Children do have accidents. Yeah. And then I walk into the school, and the first thing this teacher tells me is, c'était pas moi, j'étais pas là quand il a commencé à jouer, ils étaient avec la personne qui s'occupe d'eux, et là, j'en ai vu, ils ont dit qu'il est tombé. And I was like, madam, what happened to my child? Till today, that woman could not give me a concrete statement of what happened to my child in that school. My child stayed in the hospital for 5 days. And that was it. You also have to understand that one of the things that happens in this country, France, is that when you're an immigrant, it's very, very hard. Most times, it's very hard for you to know all the things that you can do to help yourself and your situation. I've been a victim, not once, not twice. And it's something that they do on purpose to your detriment. When you're able to pick up yourself eventually, probably it's too late for you to do anything, but then it becomes your story. There's so much more on that. Okay? So what I'm saying in a nutshell is this. I am one of the advocates of mental health, and I keep on saying, and I will keep saying it, I stand with Naomi Osaka. Protect your space. Protect your mental space. There are people, it's not just outsiders, there are people that they are toxic. They are toxic. Some of them know, some don't know. There are people that their ideologies alone are toxic. There are people that the words that come out of their mouth are toxic. There are people that their actions, their attitudes, their behavior are toxic. There is nothing wrong with you guarding your mental space. It's important. Guard your mental space. That is the most precious thing you have. It's very important. Guard it. Guard it like you are guarding your life. Because if you lose out on that, you could lose your life. If you lose out on your mental health, you could lose your life. So you do not want any of that to happen. Guard your mental space. Guard it preciously. On this, I stand with Naomi Osaka 100%. They can go and fry in hot oil for all I care. What the hell? Good news in all of this anyway is I'm so glad Nike stands with Naomi, and I'm so happy. And this is not just a story for, Nike. This is a story for everyone. I think COVID has made us see what is the most important thing. COVID showed us what is the most important thing. So much so that Being your brother's keeper today is not weird. In fact, it should be normal, and it's normal. And we should all do that. So I use this video to say I stand with Naomi Osaka, and I stand with all other people who are sufferers of mental health problems and are seeking and looking for how to get away from those areas. Keep away, guard them, whatever it is that is causing it, get away from there. We have seen so many people this past year leave us, die due to mental health issues. Many of them, overdosed on what have you. I don't want to start naming names, but I would tell you more than anything, guard your mental health, guard your mental space. You owe nobody nothing than yourself. If you take care of yourself, you can take care of others. If you can't take care of yourself, listen, you're just air. You're just an empty vessel. But we don't want to be empty vessels. We want to be full. We want to have something to give out. We want to be able to speak, and so that we can shine and be bright. So again, I'm going to say this, I'm going to put all the descriptions, all the links in the description box below. Dear ladies, dear gents, wherever you are, this video is for you, and not just for Naomi Osaka. If you know that you suffer from mental health problems, please seek professional help. Okay? Please seek professional help. That's the best thing you can do for yourself. And do not walk the walk alone. Again, that was what they lacked. They were not ready to walk the walk with her. Do not walk the walk alone. And on this note, please do not fail to leave your comments in the comment section of this video. Do not fail to like, share, subscribe to my channel. And until our next video, I'll see you. Bye-bye.
Turn me around, make it alright. Makes me feel like I need to. She's loving me all through the night.